So we've got most of those blue shadows in, and we don't want to go too dark with that blue or else it's going to look, like she's got a blue face, which is not what we want. The next thing to do, I'm going to go ahead and color in her eyes. So I'm going to get my black colored pencil. We do it with a black colored pencil instead of with our actual pencil, because our actual pencil is only gray. Even the darkest we can get is going to be gray with that, whereas this is going to be a true black. Now she's got lights in her eyes. There's a sparkle there that actually is on both sides of the pupil. There's a bright light over here and a bright light over here, and they both show up there. You alright, little girl? Naomi's coughing over here. You good? Okay. Alright, so I want to leave a space for those little lights, and I'll leave them gray. I don't have to color them white or anything. But you can see it's an interrupted circle. There's a little bit of white on both sides, or a little bit of a gap on both sides, where it looks like another circle is going to show up. Okay? And when I color in the blue of her eyes, which is actually a lighter blue than this, so I'll get my little light blue over here. When I color in the blue of her eyes, I'll do a little dark blue first. Bless you. Bless you. A little dark blue over here. I leave that circle, the other half of that circle over there. And then a little more light blue on top of it. That makes it a nice blue color for her eyes. Here we go. Now most people have a little ring around the outsides of their eyes, and she's definitely got that. I'm going to do that in kind of a darker blue. You can do it purple, you can do a little black, but I just think it makes her eyes pop a little more if we keep it blue. So now I'm going to start doing the hair to kind of get you an idea of what that's going to look like. You do the lighter colors first, and then add dark on top of that so the light just shows through. She's got kind of a medium tone brown hair, so I'm going to start out actually with a little bit of a yellow. So we're going to do this yellow now. Again, kind of all over and real fast since it's going to get colored up in just a second. Her bow actually is yellow, so I'm going to go ahead and color that in pretty hard. There's a little bit of a shine on it, so I'm going to outline that shine, and I'm going to color in everything but that shine. There's a little bit of a shine on it over there too. Right there it's colored in, right there. It shines in two places right there. The rest of it gets very, very light yellow. There we go. Okay, that's her hair bow. And now I finish doing that really light layer. Again, side of the pencil, never the tip. That light layer of yellow all over. And that'll help us make it bright when she has some highlights behind her hair. Now I've got a couple of browns. See if I have a little darker brown in here somewhere. There's a darker brown. And I think that's going to be good to do her hair. So I'll add in the light colors first. Just like you would normal hair, you're doing the strips of color. Just kind of doing all the little strands. Make sure that you are coloring them the way that they come down on her head. So right from that part, all the way down. And if there's more brown in one place than another, make sure you've got that covered that way. Swoops down this way and then actually comes up behind that little swoop to be pulled kind of straight across her head. Alright, so there's kind of some hair going in front and then some hair being pulled back behind. Pay attention to that direction because that's going to make her hair look like it's got a style to it. It's just kind of hanging all over her head. There's a lot more bright area over here towards the bottom, so I'm not going to do really much of that yet. Let's kind of do a few strokes. And this back here is almost completely black. It's hair that's behind her head, but I'm going to put some strands of brown in there as well to make it clear that that's not just, empty space, but there's hair falling back behind her as well. Now I'm just going to jump to a real dark one so you can see kind of the process. This over here, this line, if you remember, was where her hair folds in on itself a little bit. So I'm going to color that line in again, this time with the pencil. And because that's where hair is coming out from where it's dark, I'm going to have hair, go in that direction. You want to do a very small number of really dark strokes with this. Anywhere that there's shadow on her hair, you're going to want to put this to indicate that the hair has some of that shadow to it. But you don't want to do too much. Not too much, because it'll cover up all that you did behind. The light is hitting her from above, so on the bottom part of this little piece of hair, there'll be more shadow, so I'll do more brown, because that brown will show up a whole lot more right there. This is really where you get to indicate where her hairstyle is, because these darker strands will show up a lot more as far as where her hair is combed and how it's lying on her head. The other light stuff is really just for background. Alright, I don't want to do too much to it because I don't want to make it look crazy. It's always going to be a little darker at the part. And that's going to be where there's a little bit more shadow. So I want to do more of these little hairs coming out there. The same thing up here. Darker toward the back of her head. So I do a lot more little hairs coming out there. And then I'm looking at her and seeing that her hair's shiny right here. So I won't do any dark strokes where her hair is shiny. I'll just let them sort of stop before there, and then pick them up again on the other side. Gonna make it kind of have a little shine to it there. And then I'll follow it down in front, just like we did. Follow it down on the side. Hair on the inside here is gonna also have a little bit of a shadow to it where it meets the head. So I can add some more darkness there if I want to. Her hair is a little bit darker than this, but I think it helps to show you the way that these little strands of hair are going to help show everything else up. See, there's this part of her hair is in front of this back part here, so I'm going to use more strokes of that dark brown back here, and it'll make it look like it's in the background a little bit. So same thing back here, I can use more back there, and it'll make it look like it's right behind her face instead of being in front of it again. The centerpiece right here that's a little bit broken up. Really, really light. Even though we're using the tip again, at this point, we're still doing really light strokes, and we're not bearing down very hard at all. Now, I'm looking at her hair, and it's looking pretty good. I'll do her eyebrows. It's the same thing, really light strokes. Just really, really little. This is where you draw the eyebrow actual hairs. And there's a lot fewer of them toward the outside. And follow the direction of them too. They go kind of up at first, and then they start going out toward the outside of the head. Okay, so there. Her hair's actually a little bit darker than this. It's a little bit more brown. So I'm going to lay this down on the side and go over all of what I've done with more of this brown. Now I'll still be able to see all those individual hairs, still be able to see all those little strokes, but it's going to make her hair a little bit darker than it actually is right now. Now I'll leave that shiny area. I won't color that in because I like how that shiny area is going. And then I'll color it all the rest of the way in over here. There's a little bit of a shine over here too on the outside there, so I'll leave that. Cover that in. There we go. And now if there are parts of her face that need to be a little more shadowed, I can go back in with my black, and I can make that happen. But this is a pretty decent photo or a picture right here of this photo. So I'll leave that for the way it is. If you were going to add shadow, it would be behind the cheeks and behind the neck a little bit where that hair is, to show more where the outline of the head is. That'll help out with that a lot. But you want to blend it in so that it's not just straight up black and then hair. You know, you want to make it really gradually fade out as it goes toward the hair. Oh, bless you. Bless you, little girl. Yeah, little girl. You can hear my daughter there, I guess. Probably pretty well. There might be a little more shadow over here, a little more shadow over there. Maybe some shadow on the eyes to make those a little more clear where they're supposed to be on the inside typically. Not a lot of light gets there because the nose is in the way and the eye sockets go back a little. And if you wanted to put some more under the chin to show that chin kind of coming out a little more, that would be appropriate. That would be helpful. But yeah, you're going to end up with what's a pretty decent picture of whoever you're drawing, and it just starts out with those really basic things that all faces have in common, and then it moves on to the specifics that make that person unique and make them different than everyone else that you look at during the day. So I hope that is helpful. Happy drawing!